Hi, Miroslav. Welcome to have you here in our virtual studio. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You are currently in Frankfurt, if I'm told
Yeah,
correctly, right?
yeah, exactly. I'm in Frankfurt.
Great, great. Miroslav, we're going to talk today about DORA, the Digital Operational Resilience Act. And if you agree, I would like, of course, to also talk about the compliance side of this act, but also to see what chances, what opportunities this act also provides. But before we, go into detail, let's first, for everyone, have a quick overview of what actually the DORA entails. What is it actually? Can you please give us a few lines to kick off this conversation?
Yeah, sure. Happy to do so. DORA, as you already said, Digital Operational Resilience Act, commonly known, is EU regulation, new EU regulation that is going to start to apply as of 17th of January next year. And it is basically harmonizing various rules that aim to enable financial institutions to become fully resilient in the digital operational space. So, meaning we all know that nowadays, so from online banking to trading, insurance, everything is pretty much heavily digitized. So we are using our financial services at our fingerprint. So by using apps and online browsers. And that being said, so financial institutions are now exposed to cybersecurity and IT related risks more than ever. Conscious of these developments, the regulators have set and decided to basically design a new comprehensive regulatory framework that is fully harmonized, so applicable across the all EU 27 without the need for national transposition. That is going to provide for this, and that is going to basically introduce some new rules that to a certain extent are harmonizing some existing rules, but also are introducing some new ones that at least in some EU member states, financial institutions have not come across before.
Yeah. And what key provisions would you highlight? What two, three key provisions would you highlight in the DORA Act?
Yeah. So I would maybe start with the fundamentals. So basically, everything's built on top and around the so-called ICT governance and risk management framework. This is a comprehensive internal framework that financial institutions need to implement, comprised of a number of documented policies, procedures, processes, tools, and systems, all aimed at ensuring that financial institutions can adequately identify all ICT risks they may be exposed to, and also adequately manage and prevent these from occurring. This is really spread across DORA, so in various different provisions. Conscious of time, so I'm not going to go into way too much detail here, but basically some of the most important ones are really identification, detection of ICT incidents, malfunctions, shortcomings in performance, and so on and so on. Then requirements on the reporting of major incidents to the regulators. Then requirements that basically require financial institutions to have robust business continuity and the disaster recovery plans in place. Also, obligations on financial institutions to test their internal processes, and also a smaller group of financial entities will also need to apply advanced methods of testing. So, for instance, threat penetration testing, and last but not least, this is maybe one of the fundamental parts of DORA, are the requirements around the management of third-party related risks. So we all know that nowadays, majority of financial institutions, they rely on specialized IT service providers. So from big cloud providers all the way down to some smaller IT companies supporting financial institutions to basically achieve better time, cost, and operational efficiency, and instead of developing and relying on internal IT resources. But this also exposes financial institutions to some new types of risks that are inherent to these third-party providers that are not part of the financial services system and as such are not regulated and supervised by financial institutions. As part of this group of requirements under DORA, basically financial institutions will need to develop the entire onboarding procedure for these third-party providers, then processes based on which they're going to monitor their performance, design their contractual arrangements with them, but also in some selected cases, so where ICT service providers are particularly big and widespread across the EU single market, where these qualify as the so-called critical third-party providers. We can come to that maybe a bit later. They will also need to be conscious of some additional requirements. They need to observe not only them, but also these IT companies that have never been exposed to this compliance burden that is now looming under DORA framework.
Yeah. And because it's a huge scope, right? And especially the third part you're mentioning is interesting in this respect, because it goes beyond the financial institution itself. Basically, everyone, every viewer, every listener now who has something to do, might be on the smallest part of, let's say, the chain within the financial institutions, is affected by DORA then, right?